What's up guys, welcome back for another video. Today I'm going to be doing my everyday foundation routine. Now this video has been highly requested, almost my #1 requested video. Basically I'm going to be taking you to the steps that I do with my kids around and how I get it done super quick and easy. Hopefully you guys will be able to follow along. Don't forget to subscribe. Now let's keep on watching and get into the video. Okay, so this is going to be like a real life mom and get ready with me. My kids are literally on the inside of this door, so if you hear them screaming, forget that. So typically this is my go-to makeup bag. Even though I have a whole setup and I have a whole counter where I keep my makeup, it's always best for me to keep all the makeup that I actually use every single day in this bag. And the reason being is because, again, I'm a mom, so there are times when I'm able to come in the bathroom and do my makeup. Sometimes I have to do it upstairs. At my bathroom vanity up there. Sometimes I'm doing it at the kitchen table or sitting on the couch with like a TV dinner tray and my mirror. It all depends, but again, it's just like literally every single day depends on what's going on, so it's just easier to keep it in here and work out of this. So I have combination oily skin. This is going to be the first of many like makeup and skincare videos, so I definitely will get more in depth as we go along. So I usually like oils and serums. So two that I like, if I want to do a moisturizer, I'll use the Clinique Moisture Surge. I actually like it even though I have oily skin because it's nice and thick and supple and it makes my skin soft. Or the Ole Henriksen Truth Serum, and I'm going to use the Truth Serum. And again, this is usually a step I'll do before I leave out to take my son. So the next step is going to be to prime. I'm going to take my YSL primer. I definitely have different primers, and as you guys can see, I'm almost out of this one. I just love this one, and it's not even about the fact that it's YSL. That's the reason I bought it, obviously, but I have so many other primers, and I always just gravitate towards this one. So the next step is going to be to apply my foundation. I am a habitual beauty blender, beauty sponge type of girl. I love it. So I went ahead and washed it, and as you guys can see, it got bigger and then it got pinker because it was dirty. It is my current favorite foundation is the Urban Decay All Nighter, I think it's called. Yeah, and I use the color 11. I usually will use between 1 and 2 pumps, really never more than that. And then I just take and start dabbing. Also, I use like the butt or the end of the blender. I know I look crazy, but I really don't want a heavy application because I do have combination oily skin, so I don't really want it to be moving around, but I kind of want a flawless finish, which is why I use the foundation. Otherwise, I would use just Spot Conceal my hyperpigmentation with concealer. Skin. Now, as you guys can see, my foundation comes up orange, but I promise you I'm not gonna look like a pumpkin when it's all said and done. You guys give me compliments all the time on my foundation, and this is the one that I use. Now it's you. Okay, so next up is my concealer for under my eyes. These three are pretty much my current favorites and the ones that I go between. Now I do like a bright under eye. I like it to be super highlighted, so these are much lighter. Normally I would recommend that you find your exact color in the foundation and go like 2 shades lighter. This may be like 3, 4, 5 like shades lighter, but again, it's gonna all come together. This one is just a sample size of the NARS Radiant Creamy. This is the matte Pro Longwear, and then this is the Tarte Shape Tape. Pro Longwear is my favorite, but it's just that these have brush applicators, so it's a little bit easier to just like grab and brush. So now I'm gonna hold my sponge right up, and I'm just gonna see how it like perfectly lines up at the corner of my eye. I just kind of stipple it in. I don't rub it, literally just stipple it. And I just move that product around to even it out, cover the entire space. And then what I'll do is I kind of bring it into my nose a little bit, and that's going to help to naturally contour my nose, but also around the edges of like where the foundation and the concealer are going to be separate. I kind of like to take the side part and kind of like blend that out so that when I apply my powder and set it, it's not like it blends basically. It's not like this is highlight and this is foundation, there's like a line, you know what I mean? You kind of want it to blend into one another. I also drag that around my eyelid. And again, this is like a perfect primer if you are gonna wear eyeshadow. And again, I kind of went up into my nose. Then I just take what's left and I kind of like lightly highlight. I don't know if that kind of made a difference, but I don't really want it to be like extremely highlighted, but it kind of does lay that lighter base. Okay, so next we're gonna set the highlighted area and then we're gonna set the face. So my two favorites for highlighting or setting my highlighter is the MAC Studio Fix foundation in the color C6. Again, this is much lighter than my skin tone, but of course it's gonna look good at the very end. I also love the translucent powder from Laura Mercier. As you guys can see, this tub is pretty dirty. I've had it for a while. Usually I'm in a rush, like I don't really have time to just like sit and do my makeup for an hour. So it's always easy to grab this. There's no fallout. I'm able to literally just pick it up. And it is the Studio Fix foundation powder, so it does actually add coverage. A lot of times I have like bags and dark circles under my eye from just being naturally tired. So to be able to have something that has a little bit of extra coverage without having to cake on like 10 pounds of concealer definitely helps as well. Whereas the translucent powder is a setting powder and it really doesn't have any, you know, coverage. And so I also bring this up into the nose. And as you guys can see, my nose is pretty snatched. Also will close my eye and add a little bit to my eyelid. And then I'll just kind of put some right in the center. And then I'll just take and drag that up the nose as well. I don't like to keep repeatedly like pressing it back in there because honestly, once you've done both under eyes, you have enough and you really don't want to be like cake face with tons and tons and tons of powder. Sometimes I'll drag it around my smile lines and up in here just because I really want everything to set really fast because again, I do have oily skin. And as far as my sponge goes, I use the butt or the bottom of it for my foundation. I took it to this side and I added my liquid concealer like so, and then I flipped it the opposite direction and I set. So I was able to use this one sponge for 3 different parts of my skin or foundation process, and now I'm pretty much done with that for today. So next we're gonna set the rest of our face. So I like this brush here, and this is pretty much the first brush I'm going to be using for the day. I picked this up from Namies and it's by this brand here. I'll try to find it, but I absolutely love this brush. I'm actually going to go back and get some more. But the foundation that I typically use and I alternate is, of course, the MAC Studio Fix foundation in the color NW45, and if I can get this other one open. And then also the Cover FX. This is one that I used like years and years ago, and I lost touch with it, and then like recently I went ahead and picked it up again and I've loved it. It's good if you like have one powder that you love so much to kind of switch it up to give your face a difference, because sometimes you get mundane and it just feels like your makeup isn't looking good anymore. So I'm going to use the Cover FX one for today. And I just load it up really good, and I literally just go in and I kind of press it in because I don't want to put too much, and I feel like by pressing it and then like I rub or blend it around like where that, what do you call it, the highlight and the highlight powder is. I like to blend that area, but initially when making contact with the powder to my skin, I like to like press it in. And I try my best to not forget any part of my face. Now I do bring it down to my double chin, but I don't like to go too far low on my neck, especially if this is something I'm going to be wearing for hours and hours throughout the day, because I am that person that like you bring it down your neck and then you're going to have this big brown ring on this yellow shirt. And I kind of, since it's an angle, I kind of put a little bit of the powder and I kind of like stand the brush up on my nose, because in between where the highlight is here and the highlight is here, I kind of want to add that brown back in between so that it looks naturally contoured. I did put a little bit of a highlighter right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend that out with the foundation. And then after I'm done, I'll just take what's left. I didn't add any more foundation to the brush, and I'm just gonna swipe under my eye and kind of just blend out the powder. Remember, we added that highlight powder. I kind of want to add just a light layer of my natural foundation color on top so that it's not too bright and crazy. And as you guys can see, we're starting to come together, but next we're going to contour. So the brush that I use to contour is very similar to the foundation brush, or it's the same brand rather, but it just looks like this. I used to use one that was much smaller but very similar in shape from Real Techniques, and I used those brushes for years, and I'm just now finally upgrading my brushes. This is the Guerlain Terracotta Bronzer, and I've used this for years, and as you guys can see, I've hit pan. I just kind of do the fish face. I load up my brush, do the fish face, and apply it in the crevice of my cheek. Now once I've added that powder, I kind of take it up because I don't want it to be a line. I kind of want it to meet the highlight a little bit. And I kind of bring it around my hairline like a C. Now I just take what's left. I don't like to add more powder. I just take what's left and kind of try to rub it in there. This brush is definitely too big to do a nose contour, but again, this is like a quick technique, so I really don't on a day-to-day basis have time to kind of like add like use 10 different brushes. I kind of just have to go with what I have. Also, yes baby. Also, as I said before, if I kind of want to add a little bit of definition to my eyes, I'll take this and I just will take literally the same brush and just go in. At this point, I usually am interrupted. As you guys just heard, my daughter's coming. This is typically that point where it's kind of like, all right, you gotta hurry up. So at this point, I'll just pretty much do my brows, and I'll do my, I just do my brows and set it. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll go ahead and add a little bit of chestnut. Now I go back and forth between chestnut and cork. Typically, I'll use cork during the day and chestnut at night. I do basically one of the darkest MAC lip liners, which is chestnut, and then I do pretty much one of the lightest MAC lipsticks, which is Myth. And as you guys can see, I'm almost done because I actually use this almost every day. I was already about to start, but I forgot to introduce. The next step is going to be to add my brows. You cannot lock out like this without the brows. Typically on a day-to-day basis, I'll use a brow pencil just because I have to move as quick as possible. My ultimate favorite is the Dip Brow by Anastasia. Honestly, I've used quite a few different pomades from other brands, and this one I always go back to because it is my favorite. But this is kind of like when I have a little bit more time, I'll do this. So these are both from NYX. I typically gravitate to this one more. I just like the brow that I get ultimately with the skinnier pencil. And I picked this one up from Target in the color Espresso. I also have the Anastasia one, and it has more of a angle. I like this one too, but again, I just gravitate towards the very skinny point one just because I do like the color and the formulation of theirs. But NYX is definitely good. So typically I would just line the very bottom of my brow best I can. I don't really worry about messing up because it's one of those things where you can kind of fix it a little bit. I can honestly see why people don't do this on camera because I literally need to go over there and do this, like. much it for the brows. This is kind of like my highlight brush. I told you guys that I use the actual beauty blender to apply it, but sometimes when I apply like a thick layer or I use my translucent powder, this is the brush I kind of use to kind of brush away the excess powder once it's set. Also, I like to take this brush and kind of like do a circular motion and kind of like brush it against the start of my brows, kind of to get rid of that boxy shape if ever I have one. So these are pretty much my 3 daily brushes. And then also I have this one here, and I really like this one for highlight. Typically during the day I don't do a highlight just because I naturally radiate as is, but I will use a setting spray. So as far as setting sprays go, I feel like when you guys give me compliments on my makeup, it's more so the base, which is like how I take care of my skin, priming it and all that great stuff, how I apply my foundation with the beauty blender, and then also how I set. So my favorite holy grail is the Fix Plus, and I'll tell you. I also have this affordable one from Pixie, which I've used quite a few times. I do have a huge bag of drugstore makeup. So next up in the makeup segment is going to be a makeup tutorial. And everything that I bought, even though it's brand new, is stuff that I use from the drugstore and I love. So I'm just going to take the Fix Plus because this is my favorite. And I do add quite a bit. The key to it for me is to be able to apply a setting spray just enough so that it kind of melts each layer. So it melts the powders, the contour, everything, and it kind of dries back and everything melts together as one, if that makes any sense. This does the same thing. I just always gravitate towards the Fix Plus the most. And then as I said before, while I go ahead and wait for that to dry up, I kind of apply something to my lips. These two have been my favorite lately. I feel like this is the MAC tutorial, but I always go back to MAC no matter how much I go to Sephora. This one is Soar, and then this one is Element Forces. I'll have everything linked in the description box. I think I'm going to go with Element Forces today. As you guys kind of see, I've blended out too much. I kind of like the layers. And this is kind of why when people ask me like, what lip do you have on today? I kind of almost never know because I use a combination of things. Like there's a ton of lippies, and I use a combination of whatever fits. And if I don't like the way it looks, I'll just keep adding stuff on top until I get the look that I like. So next is gonna be eyes. Okay, so now I have to hurry up, but eyes is pretty much next. So my eyes is pretty much the final step. A lot of times I don't have time to do the eyes right away, so I kind of will just add my liner right away because I look good, but I kind of look washed out. So I usually take that same brush that I use to set my highlight, and I usually get close to a mirror, but I don't have that luxury right now, and I kind of just hold and pull. If I just apply my eyeliner like this, I feel like it always drags and never looks smooth. So I kind of have to tug. And I just make that line and then I fill in below it. If I were closer, I probably would have made that much thinner and neater, but you know, that'll do for today. I just drag, make sure the end is complete. And I fill that in, and already I don't look dead anymore. It's okay. So the last and final step is going to be mascara and or lashes. Typically during the day I don't like to add lashes just because I don't have time. Lately I've been using the Too Faced Better Than Sex, which is a little bit more pricey, but I really love this one too. I just picked up a sample of this one with my Point Perks. And this right here is the Benefit Bag Gal, and this has become my favorite. Next time I go to Sephora, I am going to be getting a large tube of it, and this one is amazing for bottom lash. Now I personally get mascara on my skin below my lashes every single time I do my lashes with the other two mascaras. Even though I love those, this one here, I do not get mascara on my skin, and this is one of the few mascaras that I find that to happen with. And first I'll do like the first coat where I'll go in, dip the brush, apply, dip the brush, apply. Now I won't add any more. I'll just take the brush itself and what is like left, the remainder, and kind of go back and forth until I get it as thick as possible. Now I am gonna add lashes later. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add one coat to the top just because there is makeup on my lashes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So at this point, I'm pretty much set and ready for the day. I'm able to look good while I go about my day. And usually in between the day, like while I have time, I'll go ahead and film as many tutorials and do as much like for YouTube and stuff as I can. Also, I usually have my coffee here with me and I'm sipping away, but I didn't have time because I talked so much to you guys. But you guys can see my skin is very flawless and amazing. All I'm missing is my lashes. If I can wear lashes and they like automatically come on every day, I definitely would, but definitely don't always have time, and I kind of hate when I put them on and they're not right and they fall or they're like in my eye all day, which is a lot of times why I try not to put on lashes until like I know I'm ready to film. But you guys do see that the foundation was a bit orange, but ultimately it matches amazing. My highlight was a little bit too light, but it gives the perfect amount of dimension. My contour was actually more flesh tone when you look at it in the actual pot. Basically to make your face look a little bit more slim when you are needing to lose a few lbs, such as myself. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to enjoy my coffee while it's still a little bit hot. Hope you guys enjoyed this quick video. Definitely gonna take some selfies for you guys in some natural light so that you guys can get a great look at the makeup. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.